She didn't collapse to her knees in a white dress. She didn't run out into the rain or send dramatic late-night messages. It all began with a single suggestion, spoken too calmly, as if it weren't a way to destroy love, but just a new weekend idea. "What if we did things a little differently?" she asked. Jonathan's life had nothing out of the ordinary. Work, home, a warm and steady routine. He believed in honesty, loyalty, and that love was a partnership, not a transaction. But that one phrase shifted everything. A new experience, an open relationship. No feelings involved, just exploration. At first, he tried to be flexible, tried to understand, tried not to lose her. But the further this freedom went, the tighter the noose became around his neck, made of lies, second phones, and "it doesn't mean anything." And when the truth finally surfaced, it was already too late. "Hello, my friend. I'm so glad you stopped by my channel. If you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends or family. It really helps my channel a lot. Please tell me in which city or country you watched this video. I value every one of your comments. So, let's get started. I never sought out drama. My days moved in a comfortable rhythm. Punch in at work, head home, occasionally catch up with a few close friends. I had always subscribed to a pretty traditional view of relationships and what marriage ought to look like. Then came Naomi. We met at a casual backyard party thrown by a mutual acquaintance. There was something electric about her, full of life, effortlessly charming, impossible to ignore. We hit it off right away. After 2 solid years together, I proposed. She said yes, and for a while, everything felt right. We dove headfirst into imagining our future, joint bank accounts, weekend getaways, maybe a dog someday. But as is often the case, the script didn't play out quite as expected. About a year after we got engaged, an unexpected topic surfaced, one that threw our plans into uncertainty. We were sprawled on the couch one evening, half invested in some show about unconventional couples, when she said, casually, but with a certain weight behind her words, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing things a little differently?" I turned toward her, eyebrows raised. "Different how?" She hesitated for a second. "Like, opening up the relationship a bit?" I blinked, caught off guard. "An open relationship?" I echoed, trying to wrap my head around the idea. "Where is this coming from?" She gave a light shrug. "I was reading this piece earlier today. It talked about couples who found longevity and happiness by giving each other some freedom, still committed, but with space to explore." I sat with that for a moment, unsure how to respond. "Are you unhappy with us?" Her answer came fast. "No, not at all. I love you, Jonathan, truly. But I thought maybe it could be something new, something exciting. Nothing serious, just exploration." I exhaled slowly. "I'm not sure, Naomi. That's never really been part of how I imagined our relationship." She rested her hand lightly on mine. "You don't have to decide now. Just think about it." That night I lay awake, thoughts spinning. Was there something she needed that I wasn't giving her? Had I been missing signs? Over the next several days she mentioned it again, casually, like it wasn't a big deal, but always with that same hopeful glint in her eyes. It started to feel like she was waiting for me to come around. Eventually, I relented. One evening, I turned to her and said, "All right, let's give it a try, but we need to set some rules." Her face lit up. "Are you serious?" "Yeah," I nodded, "but there have to be boundaries, ground rules." We came up with a few together. No emotional attachments, full transparency, and a mutual understanding that we'd pull back if it started to hurt either of us. A week later, Naomi had a night out with her girlfriends. When she got back, she was practically glowing. "How was it?" I asked. "Really nice," she said, grinning slyly. "I met someone, Grant. He's fun, but don't worry, it's just light." I nodded, swallowing the knot forming in my throat. Not long after, I figured it was time for me to step into this new world too. Camila, a colleague I'd always had good rapport with, came to mind. I asked if she wanted to grab a coffee sometime. "Wait, are you actually asking me out?" Camila said, laughing. I chuckled a bit awkwardly. "Yeah, things are kind of different for me now." She tilted her head. "Different how?" "My fiancé and I are experimenting with an open relationship," I said. Her eyebrows rose. "That's unexpected. How's it going?" "Honestly, still finding my footing, but I thought maybe we could hang out." She smiled. "Sure, let's see where it goes." Camilla and I began seeing each other casually, coffee dates, relaxed dinners, the occasional flirtatious moment. It was nice to feel noticed, but beneath it all, I felt unsettled. One night, over a quiet dinner, Naomi asked, "So, how's it going with Camilla?" "She's cool," I said, keeping it vague. "We're just keeping it chill." She gave a slow nod, then looked away for a beat. "Jonathan, there's something I need to tell you." I felt a tightness rise in my chest. "What is it?" "I've been seeing Grant more often than we originally said we would," she admitted. A pang of anxiety hit me. "How often are we talking?" "Every other day," she said softly. My jaw clenched. "That's not what we agreed on, Naomi." "I know," she said, her voice trembling. "It just happened. We really connected, but I didn't mean for it to go this far." Her eyes shimmered. "I love you, Jonathan. I don't want to lose us." I stared at her, overwhelmed. "I need space. I need time to think." The days that followed, I kept my distance. I needed air. I needed clarity. At work, Camilla noticed the shift almost immediately. "You've been a little off lately. Everything okay?" she asked gently. "It's Naomi," I sighed. "She's caught feelings for the guy she's seeing." Camilla's eyes were thoughtful as she slowly nodded, a hint of concern shadowing her face. "Jonathan, maybe this whole open relationship thing just isn't meant for you." I let out a long breath, the truth finally sinking deep into my chest like a stone. "Yeah. I think you're right. I thought I could handle it, but it's pulling us apart instead of bringing us closer." She reached across the table, the soft brush of her fingers against mine offering quiet comfort. "You're a good man, Jonathan. You deserve someone who's fully committed, no conditions, no halves." Her words followed me like a ghost on my walk home. When I stepped through the door, Naomi was waiting on the couch, tension written all over her face. "We need to talk," she said, without preamble. I dropped onto the seat across from her, steeling myself. "Yeah, we do." Her voice was steady, deliberate. "I've made a decision." My brows lifted. "You have?" "I'm ending it with Grant," she said firmly, not a flicker of doubt in her eyes. I blinked, stunned. "You're serious?" She nodded. "Dead serious. I don't want to lose you, Jonathan. Opening the relationship, it was a mistake. I still love you. I want to fix this." Relief swept through me, sudden and deep. "I love you too, Naomi. But this isn't something we fix overnight. We've got a lot to rebuild." "I know," she said, her voice low but resolute. "And I'm ready to do the work." At first, things genuinely started to improve. She cut Grant out of her life, and we both committed to therapy. It felt like progress, but the past hung over us like a storm cloud that refused to pass. Restoring trust turned out to be harder than either of us imagined. Then one evening, I walked in and found her speaking softly into her phone. The second she noticed me, she hung up. "Who were you talking to?" I asked. "No one," she replied quickly, avoiding my gaze. "Naomi, don't lie." My tone sharpened, slicing through the silence. She hesitated before finally admitting. "It was Grant. He called me just to check in." The sting of betrayal was immediate. You gave me your word, I reminded her coldly. I know, Jonathan. I didn't reach out. He did, she said, her voice growing defensive. But something in her tone, the way her eyes danced away from mine, it didn't sit right. Later that night, when she was fast asleep, I sat in the dark, listening to the quiet hum of the house. My hand trembled as I reached for her phone on the nightstand. I scrolled through her messages, heart pounding. It was all there, message after message from Grant. Not just the odd check-in, long threads, recent conversations, signs of a relationship that had never truly ended. One text read, "I miss you. When can we meet again?" Another, just from yesterday. Jonathan has no idea, right? I sat frozen, her phone resting on my knees, my mind spinning, breath shallow and tight. I didn't return it. I didn't sleep. I just sat in the living room, watching the darkness stretch into morning. By the time the sun came up, I was already sitting at the kitchen table, hands wrapped around a mug of coffee that had long since gone cold. Naomi shuffled in, rubbing sleep from her eyes. "Morning," she said, leaning in to kiss me. I turned away. She stopped short. "What is it?" Without a word, I slid her phone across the table. The screen lit up, still on her messages with Grant. Her face went pale. "Jonathan, I saw everything," I said, voice ice cold. "You told me it was done. You promised me." She wrapped her arms around herself, retreating into a protective shell. I didn't mean for it to keep going. I didn't know how to stop. "Oh, you didn't know how," I said, standing. "You just kept sneaking around instead, lying to me." Tears welled in her eyes. He kept reaching out. I didn't know how to shut it down without hurting him. I felt guilty. "Guilty?" I laughed bitterly. "You should have felt guilty for what you did to me, not for sparing his feelings." "I love you, Jonathan," she whispered, voice cracking. "I don't want to lose you." "You already have," I said, the words heavy in my mouth. "Every lie, every secret meeting, every message, you broke us piece by piece." She took a shaky step forward. "Please. We can still fix this." I inhaled deeply, my pulse a steady roar in my ears. "How?" I asked. "How do we repair something you shattered over and over again?" She reached for me, but I stepped back. That distance between us felt permanent. "It's over, Naomi," I said quietly. "I can't build a life with someone I can't trust. Someone who keeps clinging to someone else while telling me I'm the only one." She collapsed into tears. "Don't do this. I'll end it with Grant for good. I swear to you." I shook my head, slow and tired. "You already made that promise, and you broke it. Why should I believe anything you say now?" "I'll show you," she begged. "I'll prove it to you. Just give me one more chance. Just let me prove myself." A breath escaped me, slow and strained, the ache in my chest pressing hard. "I did give you that chance, Naomi," I replied, my voice empty. "I gave you all I had, my trust, my heart, and you crushed it. I can't keep going in circles." "Jonathan, please," she whispered, sinking to the floor and clinging to my hands like they were the only thing keeping her afloat. "Don't let this be how it ends." I gently pulled my hands away, speaking quietly, but with resolve. "I need truth. I need respect. You've got 3 days to gather your things and move out." Without another word, I turned and left her in the kitchen, her quiet sobs trailing behind me. I packed the basics, tossed them into a duffel, and booked a room at a nearby hotel. The house felt like it was suffocating me. My thoughts were chaos, and Naomi was the eye of that storm. I needed space to think, to breathe. Later that night, my phone lit up with a message from Camila. "Hey, Jonathan, you free tonight?" I tapped out a weary response. "Not sure. Kinda not feeling it." Seconds later, my phone rang. "Jonathan," Camila said, her tone light but concerned. "You've got to get out for a bit. Come on, let's hang. Get your mind off things." I didn't have the strength to refuse. Maybe being out would dull the roar in my head. We agreed to meet at a bar nearby. She had this bright energy, something that cut through the heaviness I'd been dragging. Even though my heart was raw, being around her brought a moment of relief, like catching my breath after being underwater too long. Eventually, she tilted her head and looked at me closely. "Jonathan, what happened with Naomi? Are you okay?" I hesitated. Then the words just came out. "It's over." She was lying. Still seeing Grant. "I'm done with her." Camilla's expression shifted, eyes widening. "Are you serious?" "Jonathan." "Yeah," I said quietly, fighting the sting. I didn't see it coming. Thought we were solid. Guess I was wrong. "I know how hard you fell for her," she said gently. "But you deserve better. You really do." We kept talking into the late hours. At some point, something changed. Something subtle but unmistakable. The air between us grew thick, charged. Her fingers brushed mine and stayed there. In that moment, something passed between us. Soft, real. The pain started to loosen its grip, replaced by a stillness I hadn't felt in ages. "Jonathan," she said softly, barely more than a breath. "I've been meaning to tell you I care about you." I met her eyes, my voice caught somewhere between surprise and silence. I don't even know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," she replied, leaning in. "Just know I'm here." She kissed me, gently at first, then with a quiet urgency. Everything else faded away until nothing existed but that moment, just the two of us. 3 days later, I returned home. Naomi stood by the doorway, suitcase at her feet, eyes swollen and red. "I can't do this, Jonathan," she said, voice shaking. "Please, let me fix this. I swear I will." I stood there, unmoving. No apology could erase what she'd done. My heart still ached, but my choice was clear. "Naomi," I said, voice even, "we're finished. I'm done pretending. I don't trust you anymore." She stepped closer, desperate. "Please, Jonathan, I made a mistake, but I'll change. Just give me one more chance." I shook my head. It was the hardest thing I'd had to do, but I meant it. "No. Whatever we had, you broke it. I can't put it back together." She looked at me, searching for something in my eyes. When she found nothing, her face fell. She wiped her cheeks and nodded faintly. "Okay," she said, barely audible. "I understand." She picked up her suitcase, turned, and walked out. The door shut quietly behind her. And in that silence, the finality of it hit me. There was grief, yes, but also something else. Relief. Closure. The months that followed were slow but healing. I poured myself into rebuilding. Camila moved in not long after. Life wasn't flawless, but it felt right. Calmer. Real. We were shaping something new piece by piece, with each day more solid than the last. Then, one quiet evening, the doorbell rang. It was Naomi. She looked worn, eyes full of regret, voice trembling. "I'm sorry," she said. "I shouldn't be here, but I couldn't stay away. Jonathan, please. I'll do anything. Just give me one more chance." For a second, I said nothing. I watched her, remembering everything. A part of me would probably always feel something for her, but the wound she left hadn't healed easily, and I wasn't about to reopen it. "No, Naomi," I said, softly but with certainty. "That chapter's closed. I've moved on." Her face contorted, stunned by the revelation. "You moved on?" she repeated, disbelief dripping from every word. "With her?" Her eyes darted past me, narrowing the instant she caught sight of Camila standing calmly at the kitchen counter. I gave a slight nod, my voice steady though low. "Yes, I've found some peace, Naomi. Whatever was between us, it's over now." The glimmer in her expression hardened into fury. "She's your answer?" she spat. She didn't wait for my reply. "No, you're just running away. From what we had. From me." Camila stepped forward, her voice steady and composed. I'm not here to take your place, Naomi, she said gently. But Jonathan deserved more than what he got from you. That sentence was a spark in dry tinder. Everything broke open. Their voices collided, sharp and aching, each word soaked in years of hurt. I stood there, unmoving, trapped in the middle of their storm, knowing this was mine to untangle. Enough! I barked, pushing myself between them. This solves nothing. Naomi, it's time to go. It's over. Please, just go. She looked at me, stunned and hollowed, her voice barely audible. You're really doing this? I said nothing. My silence spoke volumes. She turned without another word, her steps slow, shoulders slumped beneath the weight of goodbye. The last fragments of our past followed her out into the night. I stayed behind, the silence she left behind echoing louder than the shouting had. No matter how deeply I tried to bury it, the past stayed rooted in me. The memories, sharp, stubborn, real, refused to fade. Weeks slipped by before I made the decision. I listed the house, ready to shut that chapter for good. Camila and I packed what was ours and drove away, watching the city and its ghosts recede in the rearview mirror. We didn't have it all figured out, didn't know our final destination, but we had each other. That was enough. We were ready for something new, a quieter place, a clean slate, a new beginning. This story has come to an end. What's your opinion? Share it in the comments, my friend. And if you like this story, check out other exciting videos on my channel. I'll say goodbye until the next video. See you.